2018 Dacia Duster Estate Review. The good points of Dacia Duster Estate: incredibly cheap to purchase, 2- or 4-wheel drive, lots of interior space. The bad points of Dacia Duster Estate: base models will not have aircon, some interior plastics fragile, not the least expensive to run. The Dacia Duster was the Romanian company's first model to reach in the UK in 2013. It is usually still hugely possible following its 2016 facelift. Available with 2- or 4-wheel drive, the Duster is often a rival to crossovers such as Skoda Yeti, Suzuki Vitara and Nissan Qashqai. With a compellingly low starting price with the entry-level 2-wheel drive version, it undercuts competition by some margin. According to the company, it hasn't were built with a detrimental relation to the quality, although some people might plastics feel cheaply side. At the same time, just about entry-level access models get lots of kit as standard. Dacia Duster, engine lineup. The Duster can be acquired with a collection of 2 petrols and something diesel engine, all found elsewhere in numerous Renault models. All of them could be specified with either 2- or 4-wheel drive. There's a 115 horsepower 1.6-liter naturally aspirated petrol powering access and ambience models, badged 115, while higher-spec Laureate and Prestige Dusters come having a 125 horsepower 1.2-liter turbocharged petrol badged 125. The former emits between 145 gkm and 155 gkm of CO2 dependent upon whether you go searching for 2- or 4-wheel drive, whilst the turbo petrol emits between 138 gkm and 145 gkm. This 115 returns 44.1 miles per gallon and 41.5 miles per gallon in 2- and 4-wheel drive forms respectively, as well as its returns a claimed 46.3 miles per gallon in 4x2 form, as the 4x4 is thirstier at 44.1 miles per gallon. Opt for just a diesel so you get a familiar Renault Duster 1.5-liter diesel unit producing 110 horsepower. That's by far the cleanest and many economical engine inside the Duster range, with claimed fuel economy of 64.2 miles per gallon to the 4x2 and 60.1 miles per gallon for your 4x4. CO2 emissions consist of 115 gkm to 123 gkm. It's also the one engine provided by an automatic gearbox, the others all feature manual boxes. Equipment and accessories. One on the main selling points from the Duster, in conjunction with being cheap, may be the decent kit list. For the entry £8,995 4x2 access model, possible buyers get 16-inch steel wheels, roof bars, electric front windows, 4 airbags, emergency spare wheel, height adjustable tire and remote central locking. Go-around ambience so you get added treats just like a radio player with aux, Bluetooth and USB connection, as well as the added practicality of 6040 split rear seats. The range-topping and anticipated to be the best-selling Laureate models receive the luxuries of aircon, 16-inch alloys, electric rear windows, leather controls and trip computer. The verdict. Some people may criticize the Dacia Duster for having a tough and watchy interior, or lacking in refinement. Just make sure take list prices and monthly PCP repayments into mind, all bets are off. Even whenever you take price out from the equation, the Duster is really a likable, family-friendly SUV with bags of room, a competitive variety of engines, and good fuel consumption. Resale values aren't bad considering discount prices new, setting up a Duster an exceptionally sensible used buy, too. More Continue watching full Dacia Duster review. Dacia Duster performance is over a par which consists of rivals. It was launched with just one petrol and something diesel engine, but an extra petrol has since been added to your lineup. Petrols. The 115 horsepower 1.6-liter petrol engine is adequate for many jobs, as well as in fifth gear it pulls well. Figures are relative just for this size of car and will also complete the 0 to 62 miles per hour sprint in 11.0 seconds. You'll ought to change down a gear or two and make the revs high when overtaking at speed, but 156 Nm of torque ought to be enough for almost all situations. The turbocharged 1.2-liter TS125 engine has 10 horsepower, a lot more than this 115, plus a useful 205 Nm of torque. It'll also range from 0.62 miles per hour in 10.4 seconds, so it's usually the one to go for if you wish the most performance out from the Duster. 1 diesel choice. The 1.5-liter Dacia diesel is usually a treat-and-tested engine found elsewhere inside the Renault range, together with various Nissan models. Its 110 horsepower and 260 Nm of torque help obtain it to 62 miles per hour in 11.8 seconds from the standstill, even though the 4x4 version is slightly slower at 12.4 seconds. Gearboxes. This 115 comes that has a 5-speed manual gearbox only, as you move the TS125 and DC110 consist of 6-speed boxes. The solo automatic, a 6-speed dual-clutch gearbox called EDC, is merely available within the two-wheel drive diesel, and it's an easy and economical combination. The Dacia Duster is rarely going to attract enthusiastic drivers. It's not at all a car promptly enjoy broad blasts associated with an evening. If you need four-wheel drive and want a motor vehicle that will make you smile, you then should buy a Mini Countryman. When cornering, the Dacia Duster incorporates a fair number of body roll-through corners, plus the driving experience can be hampered because of the slow and vague steering. However, about the upside, the ride is comfortable. The Duster takes up most bumps, meaning rear seat passenger should supply the Dacia the thumbs up. Interior-wise, the Dacia Duster is really a bit cheap and cheerful, even so if you purchase a Duster you are thinking about the budget end in the market. The plastics are of cheap, feel challenging to touch, all of which will scratch with time. Even the load cover and side boot is flimsy, nonetheless it does the work. It really feels a little low rent. When you have the handbrake inside the off position, it hampers you getting to your controls for your wing mirrors. Nothing major, but it really is an irritation. Dacia Duster comfort levels are fairly good. The ride soaks in the majority of potholes, yet you'll still feel relatively refreshed after long motorway journeys. Side support and bolstering to your back might be better around the front seats. The high driving position is good, even though the cabin is concentrated around the driver. Whether you are traveling inside the front or rear, there is an abundance of head and legroom for 6-footers. The Duster incorporates a few downsides. The cabin could possibly be better insulated, especially around the door seals. This means that wind, road and engine noise are quite loud when traveling at motorway speeds. From launch, the Dacia Duster was for sale in 3 trim levels: Access, Ambience and Laureate. Since then, a top-spec Prestige model has become added on the lineup. Standard Dacia Duster equipment. Standard features around the Duster Access include 16-inch steel wheels, roof bars, electric front windows, 4 airbags, height adjustable tire, ice fix points around the outer rear seats and DAB radio. An emergency spare wheel can also be fitted free of charge to 4x4 versions. There's also remote central locking and ABS with emergency brake assist. Move as much as ambience trim, and you also get aux and USB ports, Bluetooth phone connectivity and steering column mounted stereo controls. There's also body-colored bumpers, front fog lights, 60 hours 40 minutes split folding rear seats, as well as a height-adjustable driver's seat. In 2016, Ambience Prime was added towards the lineup, adding chestnut brown metallic paint and different 16-inch alloy wheels over regular Ambience models. Laureate trim is next, and that is the most widely used model from the UK. These get 16-inch alloy wheels, electric rear windows, air conditioning, cruise control, trip computer, satin chrome roof bars, scuff plates and side sills, electrically adjustable and heated door mirrors, plus some glossy black plastic trim about the dashboard, center console and interior door handles. Range-topping prestige models come having a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system with sat-nav, live traffic information, rear parking sensors, plus a reversing camera. Optional Dacia Duster accessories. A variety of options packs are situated on the Dacia Duster. A leather pack adds leather upholstery, the protection pack adds a burglar, parking sensors, mud guards and interior mats, along with the styling pack adds chrome exterior detailing. If you desire more practical features, there's a touring pack along with a tow bar, roof rack as well as an armrest, as the action pack adds fog lamps, a spoiler, side steps as well as a chrome front bar. When tested by Euro NCAP this season, the Duster only received 3 stars. Parent company Renault will probably be hoping for the better Dacia Duster safety score when Euro NCAP go to evaluate the new model. Dacia Duster practicality is best in class. With the seats in position, the Dacia Duster has 475 liters of luggage space, 408 liters in 4x4 with spare wheel for rear seats folded. This expands to at least 1,636 liters. Compare the boot space around the Duster towards the Nissan Qashqai, so you can note that the Duster has trumped the class-leading Qashqai about the practicality stakes. With seats in position, the Nissan has 410 liters, then when the rear seats are folded flat this expands to at least 1,513 liters. If you compare the Dacia for the Hyundai X35, the Duster is released on top if the seats are folded flat. The X35 has 591 liters with all the seats in position, while it has 1,436 when flat. The Mini Countryman is the one other rival that lags behind from the space race in contrast against the Duster. The Countryman incorporates a load space of 350 liters and 1,170 liters. For families, the Duster offers practicality with the bargain basement end on the market. There is really a generous level of interior space from the Dacia. The Duster has 5 seats and also you could ferry 5 adults. The goods seat within the rear bench is definitely well sized and can accommodate a grown-up of average size and build. Head and legroom is plentiful.